FY26 school budget.
So right now we are on budget version B of the FY26 budget. It's the same one that we presented last school committee meeting, March 24th, and it's the same one that we presented to the finance committee last week on April 10th. So the bottom line, the iterations we made from the preliminary budget to budget version A, we cut 580,000 or so of non-personnel cuts. And then to get from budget version A to budget version B, we cut about 600,000 or so more of personnel cuts. And but the number we were trying to get to was an increase of about 1.4 million. We tried to match the number that Chapter 70 is anticipated to increase for the town of Clinton in the governor's budget. So what that would mean would be basically we'd be asking for the town to pass through the education funding to the schools and not asking for any additional allocation of local funds. Obviously, there are some indirect costs that the town absorbs as well that go towards maintaining our net minimum school spending. So I guess at this point, if there's any questions.
Are there any questions on the budget? Great. Well, I certainly want to thank you for this. The packet looks very concise and it's well done. And I know there's a lot that goes into it. So thank you to everyone who participates in this.
And we presented to the finance committee. They had a couple minor questions for us. Most of them were just about sort of the process and maybe looking at the potential for other funding or what could happen to some of our other funds. But overall, we didn't, I think that they thought we gave them a lot of information and they were taking that under advisement as they continue their hearings and putting together the budget. So we haven't got any official feedback from them yet. We'll wait for that. And I think that would be probably our next step would be hopefully as maybe we start to settle some of the contracts and we're going to do some updates on our tuition, both vocational tuition and special education tuition, now that we have a better sense of who applied, and hopefully soon we'll get some more information on who got accepted to vocational placements, and we'll be able to fine tune some things. So I'd expect that we're probably going to have a budget version C. How different it'll be, I don't know, but we'll probably adjust some of the line items depending on those numbers and depending on any feedback we get from the finance committee that we would present probably either at the first meeting in May or the second meeting in May so that we can hopefully come up with a budget that the finance committee endorses and hopefully we'll get the school committee endorsement and go from there.
Sounds great. Any questions before we close the hearing? No questions. So I'll officially close our hearing on the budget.
All right.
And then we'll just take a couple minutes and we'll get right into our meeting.
Reconvene at 7. Okay.
I didn't see it. I'm like, wait, they already opened mine.
Thank you. Yeah.
What is it? I think I'll tell the officer what day to get this.
I'll double check.
Yeah, I remember correctly.
Did great. Yeah, I had to get a letter. So I need a copy of his transcripts. The school wanted, I got the transcripts certified true, and then the school wanted it in a town, like a school envelope for like return. I never heard of that, so I went down to Steve's office. And just give me one that says Clinton School. So I saw that day in the box. I said, "Well, if you take this one here." Yeah, I was just told if he gets out, he's in fact, he was just told him this weekend. Like, my brother retired, so he started. So this weekend we got a jury something.
Could we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Paul Christie, who is the father of Mona Christie, she is a IA at Clinton Elementary School, and Timothy Varakis, who is the father to our school committee chair, Matt Varakis. Thank you. All right, first agenda item is the approval of the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Okay, next up is the minutes from the March 24th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Was there any public comment tonight? Student rep?
There's no student rep this evening.
Okay, thank you. CTA?
Nothing.
Okay. PTA?
Because we're never gonna give up an opportunity to talk to you guys. Good evening. Happy summer, spring, winter. Don't know what it'll be tomorrow. So as of today, we have 151 members. We are doing a bit of a membership drive right now to double that by the end of the school year. Why not? Just a reminder that anybody can be a member. It's $15 to join. We just sent out the latest newsletter with details about nominating a teacher to get an extra entry into their teacher appreciation raffle for the week of May 5th when you join. And flyers are going home to all the students at CMS and CES this week. At our April meeting, we approved $5,000 in fund requests. Our PTA scholarship for CHS is still open till the 30th of this month. Teachers can still come in for fund requests. Our next meeting is April 3rd for those who want to present that in person.
May 3rd,
April 3rd?
No.
or
we just
April
had that.
30th.
No, May 7th. It is not May 1st because that is presentation night at CES. So May 7th. Okay, we'll update that. This week we have the Clinton Middle School Book Fair. We could still use a few volunteers to come in and cover a couple hour slots if you have some free time. Emily and Jess visited an elementary school in Milford to see a Booster Fawn glow run take place. We just happened to catch first graders participating, which was a bit of a tearjerker for me because my kid's in first grade. And we're looking forward to talking to Miss Silvio more about how we can run a booster event as a district-wide fundraiser. Teacher appreciation is still in the works and we're getting even more stuff to add to our raffle prizes for that. And I'd like to invite you all to stop by the book fair at CMS and I'll entice you with a coupon. And a bookmark.
Thank you.
All right, so if you need anything, feel free to reach out. We're always somewhere. Find us. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. CPAC? LPAC? Hello.
Hey, good evening. So this is just a friendly reminder that we have the multicultural night in April 29th, middle school cafeteria starting at 6 p.m. We have many families showing interest and excited for this event. And community leaders are reaching out to put out information about what they serve for the family. Local business are donating. We have about 7 countries that are gonna participate, having their table.
Great.
Last week, I attended the 4th regional family engagement meeting from DESI, and I met Olga Lopez. I spoke to her. She is the family engagement specialist in DESI, and she would like to come to this event. Let's see if she can make
Oh.
it.
Great.
And we talk about some events that are Desi gonna create for next year if they have the funds in the absentees in school, state level. So I have the pin for the multicultural. I hope you can come. You have one, right?
Probably. You can,
Yeah, I think so.
okay.
Oh, yes, thank you.
I don't know if you have from last year one. Yeah, I still have
I think I do.
Thank you.
And this is this the third annual one? Oh, this is the second annual one. Okay.
And that-
Wonderful. Thank you
you.
so much. And that was April 29th at 6 o'clock at the Clinton Middle School cafeteria. So that everybody, make sure everybody is aware of the multicultural night, put on by LPAC, and it's usually a really wonderful night. All right, we'll turn it over to Dr. Meyer.
All right, looks like a long list, but a lot of it's pretty quick here. So a couple staffing updates. We did just hire a long-term sub for the band position, music and band at Clinton Middle School. Christopher Beasley will be filling in basically when we get back from April vacation. We also had two resignations, Mark Lesage and David Wood, both elementary school IAs, recently resigned. So we have posted to try to fill those as best we can. We've talked about potentially looking at different sub options too, since it'll be close to the end of the year. Next topics are funding and finance. Just a reminder that we do have that in the strategic plan where we're trying to look at things like exploring efficiencies of the town, focusing on our multi-year budgeting, which I think we've been trying to do to show that sustainability. Reviewing our bid specifications and things. We just went out to bid on transportation this year and looking at alternative sources of funding. And one of those things was just at a 1/8 grant convening today for one of the grants that we got this year for the project lead, to get Project Lead the Way going here. So I think we kind of keep those in our forefront as we try to do all our budgeting. That rolls in kind of to budget version B. I'm not going to reiterate all of that, but that's basically what we just had the public hearing on, what we talked about last meeting, what we've talked to the finance committee on. Budget version C, I mentioned a little bit, like we'll see. I'm hoping that'll be our last revision, and I'm hoping at that point we'll have the next cherry sheet from the state finance committee recommendations. And we'll be able to look at any of our contracts that might have been settled and update our tuitions for both out-of-district placements and vocational. So those are kind of on our punch list to kind of clean up. Hopefully we can go ahead and figure all that out. Hopefully we're to the good on those, but we'll see. Next thing is the school choice vote.
Before we
Yeah,
do that,
sorry.
Did anybody have any questions on budget? I just had one quick question.
Yeah.
What is the timing of where we would prepare if we were going to be getting a warrant article ready for the town meeting? Or do we already know that?
Probably almost like now if we wanted to get one
Okay,
ready.
is
Yeah.
there Anything, I know from Brian's report, I wasn't sure what normally.
I don't think, I mean, for us,
Anything facility wise, he usually.
I don't think he has anything that's really school specific. I think we were, we had kind of a big ask last year. So I think this year we've been, I don't think we had anything that we were pursuing as a warrant
Okay.
article.
All right, great, thanks.
All right. The next item was a school choice vote. And the change from last year to this year that I'm recommending is last year we didn't open school choice in grades 5 or 6. But I think with those class sizes now, I think we could make it so we have 5 slots available in grades 5 through 10, 3 slots available in grades 11 through 12. We typically don't get a lot of school choice in grades 11 and 12. Those slots more are for like if someone, a lot of times when it's might happening, it's like a senior, their family moves, towards the end of the year and they want to try to stay here and graduate. So they become school choice. We're still recommending to close. There really isn't anything in pre-K. You can't really do school choice in pre-K, but basically no school choice in pre-K through 4 or a sub-separate programming. The only thing that we did last year, the only other change that we did last year was we had We did have a couple slots last year for K that were designated for sibling preference. And I haven't done I didn't do a survey yet on that, so I could probably do that just to double check and make sure there isn't anyone who's like a second grader who's a school choice student already that might have like a kindergarten sibling coming. So I could do that, but I think if you wanted, I think we could maybe vote to accept these. And you could even maybe say with kindergarten for pending sibling preference numbers, something to that effect.
We were able to honor that last year.
Yeah, I think it were two.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Okay. And I do know we've had a couple in that sort of like 7th and 8th grade range who were waiting for this vote. So we'll let them know so they can get their paperwork in for next year soon. And I will do the survey just to see if we need to adjust for any sibling preference for K. Thank you. All right. The next one, special ed director search committee. So there is a job posting in here for the special ed director. I know we kind of had to shrink it to get it to be available. So it's a little small, but we did post that. That posting closes at the end of break. We have had pretty good responses so far. I think we've got about 12 or 14 already who have applied. And it's a pretty good mix, I think, of candidates. I was just kind of doing a quick perusal of them. One thing I would want to know is, so special ed director is one of those positions that it becomes sort of like a school committee, superintendent recommends to the school committee, and then the school committee actually has to approve that hire as part of the checks and balance. It's like school superintendents, they do the full hiring, assistant superintendent, special ed director, business manager, all are recommend with school committee approval as sort of a check and balance. So with that being said, if I don't know if one of you wants to serve on that search committee, I don't need an answer tonight. If you guys want to talk to each other and let me know, we probably won't start till, like I said, the posting closes right after, I think it closes a Sunday of vacation. So really that Monday, we're going to try to get the ball rolling and move pretty quick. Hoping to kind of get that process done so that we're making an offer by the end of May. So
Maybe we can email Matt if you're interested, and then we'll have that come from Matt.
okay,
Okay.
perfect. Just some random updates, not random, but they're DESE updates, I guess. Student Opportunity Act plan. We had to submit our Student Opportunity Act plan update. That is in here. It was like 7 pages. You can read through it. Basically just sort of the progress we made on what we said we were doing. A couple more exciting ones is the innovation pathways. We had a visit by our liaison to look at our application as a follow-up with our application to do a advanced manufacturing innovation pathway. We haven't got anything official yet, but the unofficial word from that visit was that, where we've made it so far, it's promising. So we're hoping for good news with that. And then we've applied for the early college designation, which we've been trying to get for a few years now. And we had an interview that I was part of on the 9th. And the interview seemed to go pretty well. They had very few questions for us. And I think the ones they had, we were able to answer pretty well. I'd say that Katie Ball, who is our college and career counselor that we added, she's been instrumental in putting these applications together and kind of navigating this process and making sure that we were really kind of maybe checking all those boxes that in the past it's been a little more difficult to get. And so we're hopefully we'll get some good news soon from the state. But those would be nice to get those designations.
Great, thank you.
And the last update was probably the only positive thing that's happened so far with the shrinking of the U.S. Department of Education is that we had to do this. I had to go sit through a webinar on all the reporting they wanted for our ESSER spending. And then like 2 days later, we got a memo that the U.S. Department of Ed doesn't care anymore, so they've canceled it. So we don't have to report. The before and after care program, there's a flyer in here. It says Clinton Parks and Rec Extended Day Program. And there's a couple pages on that. But the one, if you remember, one of the things we tried doing last year, and we kind of ran into a little bit of issue with the timing. But I think this year we got the timing straightened out. So what we're going to do is essentially we're going to stop running our before and after school program, and the Parks and Rec is going to run a before and after school program. So it's a different program in the sense that it's their program. It's not just our program being run by them. It's their program, but it should accomplish the same thing for those families. And like I said, the part of the goal with that is to try to help provide a little more continuity, because I know Parks and Rec does a lot of things. So being able to probably account for some of the things that we've had difficulty over the years, whether that's the school vacations, the half days, that type of stuff. So we're hoping that that'll be successful. They'll still host it in the, we're still going to, at least for now, the plan is for them to still host it in the elementary school. They might do, depending on the numbers, it's possible they might do some of the morning stuff at their place, but we'll see how that goes. That looks, they've got their registration going, and we've let our staff know. So that's moving forward as we had intended.
Great. Steve, is the cost the same?
The cost
What you're
is,
charging, is that what you guys charge?
it's very similar. Yeah. And which is still, I think it might be, like $5 or something like that more, but probably would have had to do that anyway. And it's still very reasonable compared to other places. Yeah. Please. All right. The building project update. One of the big things, I have a walkthrough on Wednesday at the site with Fontaine, the construction management, and our designer will be there. And really what we're going to do is we're going to kind of walk through and look at a couple things. One of the things is to look at exactly where the fence is going to go up this summer, so that we know the exact kind of line of the construction. I mean, we've seen the drawings, but really just to get out there and walk so we know exactly what's going to be where. And then there might be some things where over the summer, like they might have to tear up part of that parent loop for a little bit, but then they're going to patch that if they need to. So by the time school would be around, that would be serviceable again. The other thing we're looking at is salvageable items. So for example, like there's a shed out by that softball field that's going to be in the construction zone as of this summer. So we've just got to decide, like, do we want to save that shed and move it somewhere different, or is that shed, seen better days and we're just going to let them dispose of it. So, and then we're also going to take a walk inside the building to look at items to be salvaged. So there's some things that they've, I suggested that we look at, things like the main dedication plaques, any of the art that might be hung on walls, the AEDs, some of these things that are that they've kind of listed that are in here. We will salvage a lot of the stuff ourselves, but this is really what they're looking at now. Is they're going to start writing the specs to be ready to bid out the demolition of that building. So part of what they need to know is if there's anything that is major, like if we want to salvage the gym floor. So if we're going to try to salvage the gym floor, that's in the specifications that they need to be careful taking that up versus not taking that up. Or do we need to have it removed? Someone else going to come in and remove it before they come in and do major demolition. So we're going to walk around and do that. The main reason I'm bringing it up now is just in case you guys have anything that you can think of that you think that we might not be aware of, that you're like, oh, this is an important thing that we should get out of there. Or even anyone in the public that would say, this is, have we thought about, this thing, or if this thing's just going to get thrown away, is there any way we could have it, something like that? We could look at that. Most things, like I said, if it's a lot of this stuff, we're going to take anyway, right? So if it's like, the internet access points, like we're going to take those out anyway. The anything that, you know, things that can be reused, we do plan on taking out and reusing them. Really what we're trying to identify now is more of the stuff that might be part of the building that we would say this needs to be pulled out in a demolition spec. So if you have any thoughts, let me know.
Okay.
The last thing I think I have on mine is these health policies. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 health policies in here. There literally are no changes to them. They're recommended to be reviewed every 2 years. The nurse brought them up. We talked about it kind of at our wellness committee, and we're recommending to just approve these, basically just approve them as reviewed. So it should be like I said, there's no changes in these ones. Anyone with changes we'll go through the policy subcommittee.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
All right, thank you.
All right. On to the advisory committee, if there's any updates at all?
I've had pretty much a lull. I think we got some end of year meetings coming up for some of these in May. Negotiations, we've reached sort of a verbal MOA with the teachers, and that we're just working on finalizing that document. So hopefully we can get that signed. And then our goal is to hopefully have that finalized so that we can bring it to this committee for our next meeting to vote on. All right.
Great. Anything under old business? How about new business?
I don't think so.
All right. I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, okay. Thank you
Not
very
gonna
much.
vote?
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right. Thank you.
Alrighty. Yeah.